Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Roar Time, another edition of the Columbus Lions Coaches Show. I'm your host, Rick Jacobson, along with head coach, director of football operations, Jason Gibson, fresh from a road trip to Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester.
He's got it as Worcester.
Is it Worcester or Worcester?
Worcester, like Worcestershire sauce.
I thought it was Rooster, like a rooster, but with a W.
Some people call it that.
I did say Worcester one time, and the person from Boston said, "Hey, you said that pretty good."
The Boston person has nothing to complain about, right? They're packing the car and so forth.
Yeah, get out of here.
You know, I've got some Massachusetts roots. I can't be too critical, but it's interesting how when you're from the Northeast, you've either got a Boston or New York accent or somewhere in between. And you flew through Hartford, Connecticut, right? So
We did. That was eventful.
kind of the dividing line, by the way, between the Boston and Massachusetts markets. Tell us about the eventfulness, if you can.
The plane land in that airport was eventful because that sucker was turning sideways. I mean, it was just real windy, and the nose was down, then the nose was up, and then we come in and we're sideways, and we landed, and it bounced off the tarmac and bounced back down, and it's an eventful flight. So one of the players yelled when we landed, "Hey, Coach Gibson, we're driving back." So it was eventful, but it was a great trip logistics-wise, a lot better than New York. Mm-hmm. New York was a headache, but this trip was great. I mean, we flew in, picked up, dropped off. The hotel was great. It was just it was a good trip as far as that goes. Anytime you have to be on the road for 3 straight weeks,
And so you were working your way really from the Hartford, Connecticut side to Worcester, which is
you can fly.
Boston.
You can fly into any. You can fly into Hartford. You can fly into Providence. You can fly into Boston. All 3 of them are within an hour driving distance to Worcester.
Yes, got some family in the area myself, but did not make this trip. The Lions played a very, very competitive game, back and forth. Had for the first time in a while, looked like we had the upper hand for a good portion of this game. But
I mean, we started out first play of the game's a 40-yard bomb, and Parris Mac, we get tackled on the 3. I mean, it was exactly what we watched on film. We practiced that all week long. We came out in a certain formation. They did exactly what we thought, and we hit the play that we thought. Boom. Get down to the 3-yard line. I'm like, this is going to be easy all game. We don't score from the 3. Just 3 bonehead mistakes in a row. And so they go down and score. We get the ball back. We drive the field again. Don't score. And I'm thinking, what is going on, But all of a sudden it clicks. And we scored 28 points in the second quarter alone. And we're really up, we're up 28-14 in the second quarter. We're 28-21. And we've already missed 3 opportunities to score touchdowns. We could have had 42 points in the first half. It could have been the highest scoring half in Lions history, maybe.
As it was, the 4 touchdowns.
I mean, 4 touchdowns in the second quarter could have easily been 2 or 3 in the first quarter. And we just, for whatever reason, couldn't get it in. And I'm sitting looking at the scoreboard thinking it could really be 42-21 right now.
Seems like we've struggled all year when we have first and goal within the 5-yard line. What's going wrong?
Well, we're not getting in that end zone. I mean, it's tough for some reason. It should be once you're inside the 5, that should be an automatic touchdown. And for us, we're having to go 4 plays and try to score. So, that was one of the additions of Petway. We're making some corrections on that. I think we went 5 of 8 in the red zone. In the red zone in arena football, y'all, is 10-yard line and in. Mm-hmm. So we got inside the 10-yard line 8 times. We only scored 5 of them.
What percentage of those plays would you like to see as passing versus running?
Just depends. It doesn't matter to me. Typically inside the 5, it really should be more run. It's so hard to throw. Think about it. Put 16 people inside of 5-yard lines inside the end zone. And it's a lot of bodies. It's big bodies. And so you really need to kind of run it or do something. And,
Cam Petway, our Auburn star, is he struggling a little bit in this?
No, we're not run blocking for him. It's not Petway. We just, we're missing blocks, blocking the wrong person. We've got to figure out a way to utilize him and get him in the end zone a little bit more.
We spoke before the show of a key play that is a groaner for us. You love to, especially with the other teams starting the second half with the ball, you love to shut them out so that the same team doesn't score twice consecutively.
Right.
And in this case, a pass to Marty Gilyard Massachusetts' leading receiver, who had a whale of a game,
Right.
was caught 2 or 3 yard line, and he was untouched, rolled into the end zone. Backbreaker as time ran out?
Without a doubt, because that was a for them, they were down 28-21, that we could have went in half up, and the defense was really starting to play well. I mean, yeah, that was just stunk. I knew Marty was getting the ball. We all knew Marty was getting the ball, and he rolled in there. So I can tell you what, and you can put this on camera, but you better throw it to somebody else on those situations. He ain't gonna catch it next time. I don't care if I put 3 people on him. He's not going to score that 4th down touchdown.
See, and the next time Jason refers to will be this Saturday night, Columbus Civic Center, Lions and Massachusetts Pirates. We've got a lot to talk about at that game coming up. First, we'll just sort of recap the second half where the Lions were in it, as always, to the very, very end.
Yeah, when we come out second half and we shut them down, and then, hit Bones Bagante for a 12-yard touchdown pass from Luke. Then Lindsey hits the Rouge. And so we're at the time, I think we're up 36-28. Really, I'm thinking it should have been 36-21 because of the end of the half. And things are kind of going our way, but then they score 4 straight times. They get a touchdown pass to Gilyard on 4th down again. They hit a Rouge. We throw a pick 6. The pick 6 we talked off camera. Pick 6 was kind of my fault. It was a dumb call, but Bones fell down. He slipped, and the DB didn't do anything. All the DB did was stand there, and we threw the ball right in his chest because the route fell down. He slipped on the route.
Middle of the field, too.
Middle of the field, he fell down, and he runs it back for 6, and then they kick the deuce. I mean, that's a 10-point swing. So instead of being up, at the time, instead of being up 42-28, we're down 36-44.
In case anyone's confused, I think Jason's Canadian Football League roots have him saying Rouge and Deuce, same thing, more or less?
Rouge or Deuce, same thing, yeah. And then we kind of dug out of the hole. I mean, I think at one point we got it 43-46. Then they scored. Then we cut it down to 52-50, left in the game. And when the game was at 52-50, I'm thinking to myself, you take away this pick 6 and the 2 deuces, it's 50-42 us. But, for whatever reason, that one we needed to win. We needed to win that one. That probably stings the most.
And Luke Collis, really one of his better games, yardage-wise, efficiency.
Yeah, Luke throws for 305 yards and 7 touchdowns. What a game. Parris Mac had 178 yards catching and 4 touchdowns. And we still lose. So we got to figure out what in the world. I think we've thrown for over 700 yards and 14 touchdowns against Mass.
And if you take stock, folks, of the standings, on the same night, the Jacksonville Sharks defeated New York 83-51. So the Jacksonville Sharks are now running away with the regular season for the most part. Carolina Cobras on their heels. Jacksonville 8-1, Carolina 6-3, and we do play them 2 more times. We're done with Jacksonville. But the way things are shaping up, should we have a late season rally, which we all expect, and get into the playoffs, odds are we'll open at Jacksonville.
Honestly, I can't wait. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to go to Jacksonville. We talked about it. I can't tell you the kind of pressure, and I've been in that shoes. When you're the number 1 seed, there's more pressure on you than the number 4 seed. When you're number 4 seed, you have nothing to lose. You actually play better. And how great would that be for them to run the regular season and lose in the first round?
If it were to come to that, folks, it seems to me that we've done it before. We are due in Jacksonville.
Yep.
We played very, very well, done everything except come away with the W.
Yeah.
Including the championship game.
Twice in Jacksonville, we missed a field goal from the 2-yard line to win the game. We fumbled a snap on the 5 to win the championship game. And then the last home game, I can't remember, that, of course, the onside kick cost for half. We had a chance to win that game. So, yeah, it's coming time to be due. I'm looking forward to, we just got to win a couple games in this last 5-game stretch. 3 games we're in.
Let's take a moment for our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about how you'll game plan a little differently for Massachusetts this Saturday, and a great night of activities at the Civic Center. We haven't been home in a month, And looking ahead, while the record is 3-6, folks, there's plenty of positives for the Lions, and we'll get to it right after these commercials.
Collision Surgeons of Columbus, now at our new location at 5050 Warm Springs Road Connector. We've teamed up with JP Auto Care to create a one-stop shop for your collision and mechanical needs. Don't go into cardiac arrest. Come by Collision Surgeons at 5050 Warm Springs Road Connector.
Welcome to the Columbus campus of Georgia Military College. At GMC Columbus, students participate in community events, community service, and student activities. Join the excitement at GMC Columbus, a college for its community. Apply today at gmc.edu.
Don't you buy no ugly truck. Get the Rivertown Buick GMC.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on new GMCs.
Get out that ugly truck and into this.
New Sierra 2500 HD with 0% 60-month financing. Tell them where, Smack.
Rivertown Buick GMC.
Rivertown Auto Mall on Whittlesey Road in Columbus. RivertownBuickGMC.com.
Don't you buy no ugly truck.
USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
And back we are at Roar Time, the Columbus Lions Coaches Show. Head coach, director of football ops, Jason Gibson, with Rick Jacobson here. And as we finish recapping the loss at Massachusetts, 59-50 was the final. Right. What positives do you take out of the way we hung in there to the very end?
Well, actually, at the end of the game, it really was 52-50. I let them score on the last drive. I had to.
That was to get the ball back?
That was to get the ball back, because at the time it was 52-50. We had no timeouts left, and all they have to do is get a yard. If they get 1 yard, the clock would continue to run. The game's over. So we called timeout, which was our last timeout, and I basically said let them score. Because at least if they score, I was hoping maybe they missed the extra point. So then they're up by 8. But he makes the extra point, puts them up by 9, which didn't count me out. So we still had 38 seconds left. So if we had scored, I was going to go for 2 to make it a 1-point game and cross your fingers and see if we could hit a deuce to win it. That would have been cool. But I had a plan, but it didn't work out at the end because we threw another pick because quarterback got hit. And so defensively, when you look at the game, the defense only gave up 49 points. Mm-hmm. No, 42 points.
Pretty good performance all around, folks. And if anyone new to the game is watching our show tonight, this has to be, just so you're aware, it is possible to score 10 points on a possession. Just like Jason says, a touchdown followed by a 2-point conversion, which is your option. And followed by the 2-point deuce, or as he's called it occasionally, rouge, gives you a 10-point swing, and it's been known to swing a game or two.
Yeah.
Well, let's look forward to this Saturday night, June 29th, 7 o'clock, Massachusetts Pirates, back-to-back games. How will you steer the team away from Marty Gilyard? Who else do the Pirates have that could be a problem if we deflate his value? Did they have any big producers that you were impressed with?
Not when you look at the stats. Not when you look on film. I'm just saying. I mean, Marty's their go-to guy. It's who we got to shut down. And I think Brackett's a good quarterback. I always thought he was a good quarterback, but we got good players. We've got really good players, and we got to continue to keep learning, and we are. It's just, again, I said it before, we're running out of time. The good thing is we've got time. There's 5 games left. 3 of them are at home. Doing the math, I don't see New York really winning another game.
Right. The Lions' path to the playoffs is sort of determined by 2 teams we haven't mentioned yet today. The New York Streets, Orlando Predators, both expansion teams, but while very competitive, prone to losing streaks.
Well, New York's got a tough schedule going out. They got a really tough schedule. So, if we can win Saturday night, that pretty much, kind of puts us in the driver's seat, at least getting that 4th seed. And I know that, just looking at numbers. But I still say 6 is what we got to get to 6 wins is where we got to get to. We get to 6 wins, then nobody can catch. Then Orlando and New York can't catch us. And in those 6 wins include a game against Orlando and a game against New York. Now we drop either one of those 2 games, this is a whole nother conversation.
Sure.
This conversation turns into, okay, when we turn in our equipment, can't wait for next year. So that's just reality.
And also reality, folks, the fact is that in 12 previous Lions seasons, only once have you had a losing record, and only once have we missed the playoffs.
That was the same year.
Same year. Yeah. So odds bode really quite well for the Lions to come back and turn this around. In fact, one thing I've noticed is that while 3-6, the Lions have scored as many points as given, exact same total. And so we're talking about a team that is resilient. Jason tweaks the roster week to week, and we are, while we haven't been quite as dominant as normal this year at home, historically the Lions will win the majority
of the home games.
Of the home games. And so as we come with Massachusetts coming to town here, let's talk a little bit about youth football night and the start of the Lions flag season, NFL flag.
The NFL flag is brought to you by Domino's and Sports Clips here locally with Sports Clips. They've done a great job sponsoring that league for the last couple of years, or for a lot of years. And it kicks off Saturday. We've got ages from 5 all the way to 13. They're going to play on the turf all morning. We're going to recognize everybody, get them on the turf, let them have some fun Saturday night, and you will be able to get to see an exhibition at halftime of 2 teams.
That's terrific. The NFL flag football season, which for years the Lions have been involved in one youth football league or another, the YIFL,
right.
The Elite Spring Football League. And this has been, in your opinion, the most successful?
Well, yeah, because you partner with the NFL with it as far as getting it, is putting it on, and it's inside, it's on the turf, it's flag, everybody can play, it's co-ed. It's just a great time, and days like today when it's 95 degrees, parents love sitting inside. It's funny, I asked my wife, because the Civic Center keeps it super cold. You got to wear long sleeves and stuff when you go in there. She's like, oh, great, I got to wear a hoodie. And I said, well, we can always play them outside. She's like, no, that's okay, I'll pass. So.
Are the Gibson boys playing in the league?
Absolutely. They'll be playing, so I'm excited. I'm excited to watch my kids play. So it's kind of a chance for me for an hour out of my day to not have to think about something else.
That's great. That's awesome. So youth football league fundraisers, the outdoor leagues, how is that shaping up?
Great. We got about 5 or 6 organizations coming. We do fundraisers with tickets. For more information on that, you can call the Lions, 706-322-3336. Or shoot me an email, Jason Gibson, or Jason at columbuslions.net. As far as the youth fundraisers, the other fundraisers, get a hold of Rick. And, we got some teams showing up, and it's just a chance for us to write checks back to community, support our local youth football programs.
One of the nice things all these kids are going to get, and many of the, of course, the majority of the general crowd, some beautiful team posters that we're sending to print this morning.
Yep.
Sponsored by Academy Sports and Outdoors and Allegra Print Design Marketing. Team posters for everybody. That's promotion number 2. The third is Lee County Night. We're spending a lot of time in Opelika and Auburn selling tickets to companies there. And I might mention, as part of that, we're going to have a contingent at the Joint Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours tomorrow night. That'll be at State Farm agent Kathy Powell's in Auburn. And we'll be delivering our tickets to our Auburn and Opelika Chamber ticket buyers. So the fourth promotion is dear to both our hearts, especially mine, Advertisers Appreciation Night. We have a total of about 80 advertisers, and all have been invited to bring several clients and themselves, of course, to the hospitality suites, where we will wine and dine them a little bit and show our appreciation for the sponsors that make Lions Arena Football go. And we are urging everybody to come on to this Saturday night game. RSVP deadline is passed, but we're going to give some calls and try to build up that number in the hospitality suite for Advertisers Appreciation Night. So all these promotions come together, augur well for a very nice crowd tomorrow, Jason. Saturday night, I should say. Yeah,
it's just a big game. It's a good game. It's not just, we're doing stuff for the youth flag and we're doing stuff for Advertisers Appreciate. It's a good game. It's a meaningful game. It's a playoff type atmosphere game. And if you want to see a good football game tomorrow night, and our all Georgia DBs and Petway and all those guys, it's a good football game to come watch.
Right, and some of the groups I've got coming to the game, and in addition to the ones you've mentioned, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Dominic Sanders is going to join us there on Friday with the employees at the cafeteria. Our Columbus Senior Softball League that two of us play in are coming as a league, and we're going to have available registration for fall ball and for 2020 spring ball. This is for a league that has dropped the minimum age requirement all the way to 45. When I got in, it was 54 and older, so I'm starting to feel more aged and decrepit by the day. Also, Goodwill Industries of the Southern Rivers is coming out with 30 folks. The YMCA's of Metro Columbus, 60. St. James Missionary Baptist Church is coming out. Our advertisers that I mentioned. And Troy Bank and Trust, our good friend Stacy Faison's bringing 20 folks from his Auburn branch. So let's go to commercial once again. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of our Roar Time sponsors, get on with the plays and players of the week in just a minute.
It's Love Your Car Month at Napa.
I love a good filter.
And whether you live under the hood,
Horsepower.
or have never popped the hood,
Door power.
your car deserves some love. That's why all month long, we've got great deals for your vehicle. Because when it comes to caring for your car, all you need is Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Every day, men and women from communities across this nation serve as Reserve Citizen Airmen.
I am proud to defend our nation.
Proud to be part of a team that helps make a difference.
I am proud to be part of something larger than me and to serve my country.
We celebrate those who have served and those who are proudly serving in the Air Force Reserve. Our mission is to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace.
I am proud to be a member. I am proud to protect our...
Proud to serve in the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Thanks, Dr. J. My back feels so much better. Now tell me where I can go for my headaches.
Really? You don't need to go anywhere else. That's what we do.
Well, what about my shoulder?
That's what we do.
Pinched nerve?
That's what we do.
Well, what about disc problems?
That's what we do.
Sciatica?
With almost 500,000 patient visits over the last 34 years, don't just take my word for it. Ask a friend.
Call Dr. J. Broadwin and Associates today.
Hi, I'm Charles.
And I'm Tony with Midas here in Columbus, Georgia.
Did you know that 84,000 people in the Chattahoochee Valley go hungry every day? So we partner with Feeding the Valley Food Bank here in Columbus, Georgia. Every oil change feeds up to 5 people, or you can drop off food donations at either one of our locations. Together we can drive out hunger.
Come visit us at either one of our Columbus locations. We're located at 315 13th Street or 1631 Manchester Expressway.
Welcome back, everybody, to the concluding final segment of this week's Roar Time, where I'm going to take a moment to recognize some of our sponsors for the 2019 season of this show. They include Jordan's Girls Gourmet Dogs, 803 Veterans, Midas of Columbus, 2 stores here in Columbus, the Texas Roadhouse over on North Lake Parkway, favorite dining spot of the Lions players, Air Force Reserve, with us for the third straight year, actually, the Overby Company and Shredaway Company, Cheetah Bail Bonds, Sprague Supply, your local Napa parts distributor, Allstate Insurance, Sean McGarry Agency, Collision Surgeons of Columbus, and Motors Acceptance Corp., better known in this area as 1-800-NEW-RATE.
I love that number.
So, again, the Lions host the Massachusetts Pirates this Saturday night. We've spoken some about the game here. We're going to take a moment first, though, to recognize from a road game in Massachusetts the players of the week. Let's lead it off with the Midas of Columbus Player of the Week.
Parris Mac, 7 catches, 173 yards, which might be a record, I don't know yet, for the Lions, and 4 touchdown catches. He had a phenomenal game, and he dropped one. He could have had 8 catches for 200 and 5 touchdowns.
Looked like that he was wide open on that drop, but it looked like it was a spinner. Kind of had him twirling.
I think the wall was close and whatever, but yeah, he could have had 200 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Let's ask this very important question.
Yep.
Your vote go to Parris Mac for Rookie of the Year?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Certainly offensive.
Offensively, yeah. I don't see anybody else who's putting those numbers. But I don't know. Rob Thomas, the receiver in New York's having a phenomenal year too. So it's going to be a tight race. But there's been some really good rookies amongst all the teams in the league this year. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting.
Great. Congratulations to Parris. Takes us to our Sprague Supply Napa Parts Offensive Player of the Game.
We'll go with Luke Collis again. Anytime you throw for 300 yards in an arena game, that's impressive. Again, we had some drops. We had some missed throws. We could have easily thrown for 400. That's scary.
And you have twice this year that I recall Luke's thrown for 350 and 382.
Yeah. So that's never happened, since I've been here. So, but, we got to cut down the interceptions. The interceptions outweigh the yards sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, congratulations, Luke.
Okay, moving over, Air Force Reserve Defensive Player of the Game.
Rico Johnson. I think Rico had an interception. He had a really good pass breakup in the end zone. He was coming off injury, UGA grad, and a really good football player, and he kind of rounds out. Now we got all 3 DBs are all Georgia Bulldogs, so we got to take advantage of that.
Curious, because I'm not certain of this myself. Those 3 D-backs, did they play together?
They did. That's how we got them all. I got one got the other one, and the other one got the other one. And now they're all here, so it's working out well for us.
That's great. Okay, so Air Force Reserve Defensive Player of the Week. Moves us on to the Collision Surgeons of Columbus. Big hit of the week.
Yorick Jones, University of South Carolina. He had a big hit on the quarterback, big sack. He has so much fun out there. He enjoys the game. He enjoys the fans. Big shout out to the Big General. That's what we call him. That's his nickname, the Big General.
Big General, okay. And last and never least.
All-State.
All-State Sean McGarry. How could I forget? The good hands catch of the game.
Parris Mac in the fourth quarter. It was 4th down. People were going all like this, and they threw a pass in the end zone, and I'm like, great, we didn't score. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Parris tips it to himself and then caught it in the end zone. It was a pretty good catch. So Parris had a really good game, really good game.
So Parris Mac from Arkansas Pine Bluff. And as we encapsulate, I've really got to take a look at the summary of who's won these awards over the course of the year. We've heard some names a lot, but there have been some surprises too at times.
Well, too, also, you got to figure the continuity on offense. We've pretty much every game had Bones, Parris, Luke, and Chris Sanders, which is what I wanted. And you start the season with a new quarterback and 3 brand new receivers that have never played with each other. And for them to put up the kind of numbers that they're putting up and mesh well together, and all of a sudden, hopefully at the end of the season, it will continue to get even better. So I'm excited for those guys, and I'm excited to see how the season finishes out. We've got 5 games left, which is a lot. We've got 3 great home games left, which is a lot. So almost half the season. And, I don't feel like the season's halfway over because we got 5, like I said, 5 games plus the playoff game. And hopefully we can play 2 more playoff games.
Really a great deal of community activity taking place at this Saturday night's home game. Because we have several minutes left in the show, too, and I'd just like to take a look ahead in July at our 2 home games. We're home on Saturday, July 13th and
That's
the 27th.
a big one. It's a big one against New York. That's pretty much going to seal the playoff fate. If New York comes in here and beats us, ooh.
And, of course, every year the Lions, not only is it the first time New York Streets have ever played in Columbus, but it's our very important Childhood Cancer Awareness Night.
Yeah, with Aflac. Always a good game. Specialty jerseys, auction the money off, send the check back to Atlanta, courtesy of Aflac. Aflac always supports. Everybody knows how great Aflac is doing things like that in the community. So we're just lucky to be a part of it for the last 6, 7, 8 years.
And I'm proud to add the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition as a partner for that promotion, too.
Right.
They work closely with Aflac and the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So the 13th Childhood Cancer Awareness Night, and then the 27th will be our Back to School and Teachers Appreciation Night.
Yeah, we're still working on finalizing that and getting that done. I like the idea. It's a great time of year to have a game right before all these teachers go back to school and start the grind again. For teachers, and teachers don't get paid enough. They don't get enough credit for what they have to put up with and the things they do, and really, they're the building block of how we all get to where we're at. You just take it for granted. And so we'll have a big night and announce all the specials for teachers. Maybe we'll get a special giveaway. We'll talk about that and go from there.
Yeah, so really it's been a productive season for the Lions. The only difference is the ledger's tipped the wrong way a little bit more than
Yeah, but I'm looking at
usual.
the schedule. We could actually win out and finish with a better record this year than we had last year.
That would be fabulous.
That'd be crazy.
It would be great. But anyway, like Jason says, the schedule's kind of favorable to the Lions. We do go to Greensboro once more. Do you feel, let's assume for the moment that number 1 and 2 are the strength of the league, and do you feel that Carolina's Jacksonville's equal? Jacksonville's having a monster streak here.
Yeah. Well, I think we match. There are certain teams you match up well with and certain teams you don't. I just feel like we match up well with Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. I do. And so I look forward to either one of those games. You know, we've been kind of, going into Carolina, even the second time we played them, we're still not clicking the way we need to be clicking. You know, when you have 4 vets on the whole team, it's difficult. But, it's getting to the point where they're not vets anymore. So.
And with the offensive line particularly getting healthier, were you pleased with the way they performed?
Yeah, that's 2 games in a row they played pretty good. I mean, that's 2 games in a row we've thrown for 300 yards and 7+ touchdown passes. So we got to continue that and then put a little more clamps on the defense and tighten the defense up. And I think we have a chance to go on a run because we're so close. We're not far off, and everybody knows it. I've got weapons at every position. We just got to continue to figure out what we do well, and when it clicks, it clicks.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, and finally, any moves on the roster that you want to tell folks about for this week?
We'll activate Tristan Purefoy. He's back off IR, finally. It's been a year. So Tristan will be in the lineup this week. It'll be a big game for him, try to get him back on the field. Missed him, but then you add him in with Bones and Parris and Chris Sanders, and holy cow.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Tristan was the leading receiver, at least in terms of catches for
until he got hurt.
Us, yeah, he's a veteran with years in Florida before he came to us. So anyway, folks, it's a very positive outlook for the Lions going forward here. Don't necessarily say throw the record out, but it's deceptive. And with the game against Massachusetts this Saturday night, 7 o'clock game time, gates open at 6. Come early. Bud Light Party Zone, 5:30.
Yep, definitely.
And finishing up, it's Advertisers Appreciation Night, Lee County Night, of course, Youth Football Night, and drawing a blank, Team Poster Night, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
So, great night. Thanks for watching Roar Time, everybody. Stay tuned for the telecast of the Mass game to follow. See you next week.
Go Lions.